Whānau. Hey, kia ora whānau. My name is David Hammond for Faith in the Marketplace. And one of the main questions I know that people do have, Christians do have, in the marketplace, in their place of work, wherever they spend their days, is how do I be the most effective witness in my workplace? And I think it's actually quite hard because when you work alongside people, they get to see all parts of you. They get to see when you're upset. They get to see when you're feeling frustrated. They get to see in the good times and the bad times because you spend so many hours with them. And so if you're kind of trying to uh, convince them of the power of the gospel in your life when they're watching all of these things, are you any different to anybody else in the workplace? And I'm not going to actually condemn, is that the word? Condemn anybody for this because I actually think it's actually really hard. But I've been reflecting on Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30, where Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And I wonder if it just means Jesus, or actually he's actually saying something to us as well. And I don't know about you, but sometimes you just sort of wonder about whether, as a Christian workplace, you should sort of take moral stands on things, put a stake in the ground, put a PO right there in the ground on different issues, let them know how you're feeling about this and that, whether it's abortion, homosexuality, whether it's the war in Ukraine, or I don't know what it is. But what I do know is that people just are watching constantly, all the time. For myself personally, I'm not the one to be putting big statements across to my workmates. It's just not how I'm wired, and I also don't think it's the most effective witness that I can be in the workplace. I like this notion of being a safe place. We used to live in Taumaranoe, it's the place of shelter. That means something to me. It doesn't just apply to our faith. It doesn't just apply to our church as being a safe place. I actually think it relates to us as Christians in our workplace. And I think what I'd like to do is encourage you today to really take on board being a safe place for people in your workplace. And somebody who does like 50 times more listening than speaking. Um, Someone who doesn't shy away from the secular conversation of the people around you, listens intently to those types of things, and is a good active listener. What I personally have found in my own workplace is that I find that people come up to me in quiet moments and just have a question that relates to faith or the way that we look at things, or hey, you're a Christian, aren't you? And and on the conversation kind of goes. But they feel that they can do that conversation because you're a safe place, you're a good listener, you are slow to speak, but also you bring a calmness about you and a peace about you. So that's my reflection on today's is yeah, I get where people come from. They want to engage in the culture wars and put a stake in the ground for Christ and so on. Yep. But I actually find in a workplace setting that is really not effective. And I think you sort of almost have to earn your trust and respect of people to be able to share more and wider because their needs really aren't at the level of your views on this and that. Their levels are sort of are really about the stage of life that they're in, young people and single people. It's about partners and it's about lifestyle and things like that. And older people, it could be about legacy and family and stress with sickness and things like that start to hit at older ages. So they don't really care about your view on this and that social issues. They really want to place a person who will listen deeply and intently. So it's about bringing those pastoral skills to your workplace. I'd also say from my background, many of you'll know I was a missionary in my family. Jackie and I and the kids were missionaries to Saudi Muslims in the Middle East. It's also being a missionary in your workplace. And one of the things they taught us at missionary training school was to separate the gospel from your Western culture. And man, boy, that is such a hard thing. But it does mean that, all of the wrap up of different ideas and thoughts that we have, we can intertwine all this stuff into the gospel, but actually we can muddy and complicate the gospel that we're preaching to people. Gospel's actually really darn simple, and it's about Jesus Christ. It's not about us and our views and things like that. And so I just think about two things: bringing your pastoral self into the workplace, and also being a missionary in the workplace, and a representative of Christ Jesus, not a representative of massive views on this and that, all intertwined into the gospel, making a really complicated sort of gospel that people can't really understand. Hey, bless you guys. The reason for doing this as I do is because I actually recognise that it's quite difficult to be Christians in the workplace, to stand up in a really pervasive culture that tells us what successful is and what it is not. And you've probably heard me preach on these types of things. So I just want to strengthen you and encourage you, whether it's workplace, whether it's school, university, whether it's community in some way, shape or form, that where you're spending the majority of your time outside the home. So bless you guys, all strength to you. It's not an easy role out there, but just remember, we have something which is utterly fundamental and utterly transformational in our lives that others don't have. When you're quiet enough in your workplace and respected enough in your workplace, you will have the people coming up to you and talking to you in some deeper conversations about that, and you just realise how different the Christ perspective is through you. All right, take care, bless you, ka kite, tēnā koutou, nō reira, tēnā tātou katoa.